What's going on, Patriots fans? Welcome into the first live show on Patriots Today by Chat Sports in the offseason. We're going to start going live every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, so hopefully you guys are driving home right now. Maybe you just got home, kicked off your shoes, laying in your recliner, and you're clicking on YouTube. But I really wanted to start going live this offseason because, number one, we have $130 million in cap space. Tee Higgins, you are a New England Patriot. Number two, we don't have a head coach. We should in the next couple of days. That's what reports are saying. I'll break into that. Number three, we have a top 5 draft pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. There's a lot to unpack here. We obviously have one of the most extensive, entertaining, intriguing off seasons coming up. So every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, I will be live. Pending any changes, I'll always let you guys know on our community page. So today's conversation is obviously going to be about the head coach. That is what we're going to focus on here for primarily the majority of this live show. With 60 people watching here, I've seen a lot of people in the Chat Sports office, on Twitter, even in my YouTube comments, that now we're actually kind of conflicted between Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson for the head coach for the Patriots. All reports are leading towards Mike Vrabel. It makes a lot of sense. I'm perfectly fine having Mike Vrabel be the new head coach. But I really, really, really like Ben Johnson paired up with Drake Maye. And that's what I want to ask you guys here. I want to get more and more people into this chat. And the reason how we do that is you guys spam in the comment section down below. I got Boston Bob in here, Christopher Domingo, a lot of you guys saying MV. I got Shelly in here saying BJ for Ben Johnson. Double S, one of my favorite moderators, back in the chat in here with me. Junior's in here saying Mike Vrabel, Christopher Domingo. Anthony is saying left tackle and wide receiver needs to be addressed. I'm going to talk about that. I do have an entire show on our top NFL free agents that I do think you guys are going to be pretty happy about. But I can't keep going and not talk about who's going to be actually coaching the Patriots. So before I keep getting a little bit more here into Vrabel and Ben Johnson and everybody else, I want to go on and ask you guys this question. Let's switch gears here. Remember how I said the 3 reasons why I'm going live this offseason? The number one reason, we have $130 million in cap space. And last year, Elliott Wolf brought in dog poop. We tried to get Ridley and then Ayuk and Samuel. But we didn't hit on any of those. So your top free agent target this offseason. Let me know in the comment section down below. I know a lot of you guys are definitely going to say Tee Higgins. I'm on the Tee Higgins train, but I'm trying to be very realistic. Tee Higgins right now is in a situationship with the Cincinnati Bengals. He keeps saying he's going to leave, but he also may be hinting that maybe he's not done in the stripes just yet. And also with a guy like Tee Higgins, I could definitely see him trying to go somewhere where he can still fulfill that wide receiver 1/wide receiver 2 position like he had with Jamar Chase. For Tee Higgins, I think Ladd McConkey, Jim Harbaugh, and Justin Herbert would be really great for the Los Angeles Chargers. I don't know if New England's the right spot for Tee Higgins, and I'm okay saying that. It doesn't mean there aren't other free agents we can't go out and get this offseason that can help New England out. A lot of you guys want T. Justin wants Ronnie Staley. Paul King said offensive line and receivers need to be addressed. Absolutely. JR the Pats fan saying both. He wants both Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel. Beggars can't be choosers, man. That is going to be a tough order to fulfill. Jordell Carr saying, why go after Vrabel when he just got fired for having multiple seasons of running the Titans into the ground? Doesn't make any sense to me. Number one, he didn't run the Titans into the ground at all. He actually was a fairly above average head coach with the Titans, I would say. The reason why Vrabel got fired is because he and the former GM, a.k.a. the guy that was fired yesterday, they weren't on the same page. There's a little bit of bad blood in the front office. So Mike Vrabel got fired. And now he is the leading head coaching candidate in the vacancy right now. Vrabel would be a very good coach with New England. I have no doubt about that. But I think we're in a really great situation here where you also have a guy like Ben Johnson that could be phenomenal for Drake Maye. I'm going to break that down here and more in just a few moments. Let me go ahead and tell you guys about our sponsor here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports, talking to you guys about Game Time. If you are looking to get tickets to any sporting event, concert, comedy show, maybe even the theater, download Game Time. If you guys want the lowest price guaranteed when buying tickets to any event, download Game Time. And if you guys want to make sure you like your seats in the app, love the view with a nice panoramic 180 digital view in the app before you purchase your tickets to the event, download Game Time. Not to mention Game Time Picks makes getting tickets to your favorite teams play live even easier. It filters out all the fluff to make sure you guys get the best deals on the best seats without having to search through thousands and thousands of tickets. I use Game Time more recently. I took my boyfriend and his brother and sister-in-law to the Dallas Stars NHL game. I had never really been to an NHL game before, so I wasn't sure what the best seats were. I don't know how close I have to be to the ice to see the action and see all the teeth flying. But thankfully with Game Time Picks, they showed me great deals on seats pretty close to the Dallas Stars ice, so I got to have a really good time. I bought 4 tickets for under $100, which was fantastic, and we made some memories. So if you guys want to go on ahead and get started, download the Game Time app. Use promo code ChatSports for $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Again, download Game Time. Use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. What time is it? It is game time. And it's also going to be mailbag time towards the end of this live show. I want to go on ahead and ask you guys, if you have any questions for me in my mailbag, we'll do a Q&A here with you guys. So if you guys want to go on ahead and drop your comments down below using hashtag Patriots, for example, hashtag Patriots, who will be the next head coach of the Patriots? Or who will be the next coach of the hashtag Patriots? Put it in the comment section. That allows producer Joey to be able to grab those questions and put them in our show towards the end of today's live show. We're going to try and be live here for about an hour, so we don't have too much time today, but we do have 3 shows we want to get to, and I do want to make sure that your questions are heard here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. We have 80 questions. Let's go on ahead before we start the first segment. Let's see if we can get at least 5 solid questions about free agency, the NFL draft, the offseason, firing Jerod Mayo, hiring Mike Vrabel, hiring Ben Johnson, Drake Maye highlights, Jalen Polk, should we kick him off the team? It doesn't matter. Go on ahead. Put your questions in the comment section down below. MA saying, Allie, what are some of your pros and cons of both Mike Vrabel and Ben Johnson? Obviously, you could put Mike Vrabel in the pro section for a few things, just being an alumni of the franchise, just being in the Hall of Fame of the franchise. I think that's going to put more fans in your seats just because they're going to have that connection. But I will be honest, though, that can also be a con. I think if you go out there and you hire Mike Vrabel 4 days after you fired another alumni, being Jerod Mayo, I think that's the biggest punch in the face of Jerod Mayo you possibly could ever do. And it is extremely unfortunate. Junior saying, Patriots, should the Patriots draft Gunnar Helm in round 2? Christopher Flores, Patriots will Tee Higgins or Chris Godwin be on the Patriots as wide receiver 1? Love that question from Christopher Flores. What other questions can we get in there? Believe me, this is the time to have questions about the New England Patriots because it is a shit show what is going on in Foxborough right now. T-Mac or Abdul Carter should be the pick at number 4. I'm here for T-Mac. Tetaroa McMillan. I want to be a New England Patriot so bad. I think he would be incredible with Drake Maye. And I think you can always pay a guy like Trey Smith in the offseason, in free agency, maybe even a Cam Robinson. I'd rather bulk up my offensive line with a veteran and a guy that's already played professionally than go and bulk him up here in this year's draft. Why? I don't think this is the strongest draft class I've ever seen. Kelvin Banks Jr., incredible. Injuries. Will Campbell, incredible. Interior offensive line. We're looking for a tackle right now. I got Forrest in your Patriots in-depth analysis of the O-line and what are the best options in free agency and the draft to address the issues. Forrest, I love that question. Volcano, do y'all need a left tackle or a right tackle or both? Have you seen DeMontre Jacobs at right tackle? Have you seen Verdarian Lowe at left tackle? We need both. For the love of God, we need both. Bonfire Man, do you agree that Mike Vrabel should be able to take his own GM to work with Elliott in the front office? Great question. We'll talk about that in our mailbag. Should we be interested in Tyreek Hill at all? Love that question. We'll break down whether or not Tyreek Hill should be on the Patriots as well in our mailbag coming up here soon. And like I said, we got several segments to hit on this show. Number one, my first segment that I want to talk with you guys is Patriots free agent targets. I am going to get into head coaching, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of break just heading into the offseason. I think free agency is another really big thing the Patriots should be honing in on. So I'll break down my top Patriots free agents, and then the next half, I will give you guys head coaching updates. So what I want to make easier for you guys, I want this to be a one-stop hub, the only channel you guys need to get the latest information on the head coaching candidacy and the tracker. So that's what I'm going to do today. Day one of the tracker. Then on the back half of the show, mailbag using hashtag Patriots. If you guys want to keep commenting, super chatting, please continue to do so while we go on ahead and head into this free agent target. But if you do have a question, you want to be on our mailbag, use hashtag Patriots. That'll help myself out and producer Joey out. All right, let's start with segment number one. Keep commenting, keep liking, subscribing, and let's get into it. Let's talk about some top NFL free agent targets the Patriots should be trying to sign this offseason. There is no secret we need help at a plethora of positions on both sides of the football. And it's also no secret that a 4-13 record and a vacant head coaching spot as of right now isn't the most glamorous spot to land if you're looking to make a bag and you're looking to win. But it is a very good opportunity for a free agent to come in and create their own legacy, create their own mark in a franchise that is struggling to find an identity right now. And believe me, there is a ton of free agent markets and ton of free agent candidates the Patriots could go after. Why? Because we also have $130 million in cap space this offseason. That is the number one highest cap space out of all NFL teams. Also, the Patriots have 21 players set to hit free agency as well. This could open up a lot more positions, keep bringing in guys, maybe some older guys that will help out with your rookie quarterback, and hopefully you'll have a little bit more veteran wide receivers that your rookie quarterback can connect with. But before I jump into any of that, I just want to go on ahead and ask you guys, who do you want to sign in free agency? I know a lot of you guys out here are going to say Tee Higgins, maybe even Chris Godwin. But I do have a few guys that you may not have on your radar just yet, but the Patriots would get a steal if they added them in the blue and red. But for what it's worth, I just want to go on ahead and state, look, you need to be realistic about what New England can go out and secure in free agency. New England and Foxborough is not the sexiest destination for a guy trying to win right now. Why? Well, we've had a losing season for the last 3 years. We just fired a head coach. We do not have an offensive coordinator. Our defense was ranked bottom of the barrel in the NFL standings. So keep in mind, while it's great that the Patriots could pay Tee Higgins, Higgins may not want to come. Brandon Ayuk didn't last year because the quarterback position was so fluid, he didn't know who'd be throwing him the ball. So keep in mind that while their free agent is available, New England's going to have to really sell Foxborough to a couple of guys. And it's not just me saying this. You got your own players out here. Antonio Gibson saying, I don't feel like we've had the season to say will attract anything right now, talking about free agency. I did hear that players don't want to come here, but it's not that bad. My family loves it. The culture's not bad. It's been nice. Yeah, all right, well, it's like, here, if you ever have something and it tastes like shit and you're like, here, smell this, taste this. It's like, I don't really want that. No, I'm good. You just said it's terrible. And Antonio Gibson saying it's not that bad. My family's great. It's a great atmosphere. New England is not what it once was, but it can be again. And it may take a certain free agent to come and help us. And that free agent, well, it could very well be Tee Higgins. Obviously, the number one target, not just on the Patriots' mind, but about 6 other NFL teams out there right now. They want Tee Higgins as their wide receiver one. And the good news is, per reports, he wants to cut ties with Cincinnati. But in my own words, it's a situationship. He keeps coming and going with the stripes. But he is the best wide receiver in the free agents market right now. And he is coming off making $21 a year, $21 million a year on a franchise tag. He wanted out of Cincinnati before last season even started. Cincinnati didn't part ways with him. Yes, he has been fluctuating off and on the injured reserve list this last year, but I think Tee Higgins would be a phenomenal addition to New England. But I'm not sure if Tee Higgins would want to come to New England. So here's what Chad Graff had to say on the Patriots trying to go out there and obtain Mr. Higgins. The Patriots are going to be all in on this wide receiver. They've shown an interest in established receivers, and Higgins is the best free agent. We already knew that. I expect them to offer him the moon. The question is whether he says yes or no. I may be negative Nelly. Tee Higgins is going to say no. If he says yes, oh my God, I'm through the roof. Don't get me wrong. I want Tee Higgins here. This may not be the right establishment that Tee Higgins is looking for. I've always said that Tee Higgins may be looking for a Lad McConkey, Harbaugh, Herbert type of situation. Maybe not a Drake Maye, Pop Douglas, and a no OC type of situation. Now, Drake Maye can attract a good receiver like Tee Higgins because he would automatically be the wide receiver one. But it depends on who the head coach is and who they bring in as an offensive coordinator. Because this isn't some Joe Schmo. This is a less than 100 yards away from another 1,000-year receiving yards, 73 receptions in 12 games. He didn't even play the full 17 this year and was still almost an 1,000-yard receiver. Averages 12.5 yards per catch, and he has 10 tutties this year. No Patriot player had 10 touchdowns this year. He would immediately increase your offensive productivity. But with a guy like Tee Higgins, knowing he is the top free agent when it comes to wide receivers, he's going to be begging for the highest paycheck. Thankfully, New England can't afford him, but will Tee Higgins say yes? So my question for you guys is, want Tee Higgins in the comment section? Spam T in the comment section down below. We've already known that Kendrick Bourne went live on his Instagram saying, Tee Higgins, come to New England. But he's got to say yes. Up next, I got 3 more top free agents that I want to talk to you guys about here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. But if you guys also wanted to know a little bit about us here on Patriots Today, you should know that we have a sponsor that I absolutely adore, and that is Prize Picks. I play Prize Picks every single game day, and you guys should too. Prize Picks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. And I play every single game day because it's the easiest part of my day. Look, we're all busy. And I know that sometimes watching sports can be a hassle. But when you pick more or less on a player's projected stats, it makes watching sports 10 times more fun. Take it from me. Take it from producer Joey, everybody here at Chat Sports, and 10 million active users. When you play Prize Picks, you have the opportunity to win up to 1,000 times your money. That's right, up to 1,000 times your money. And this is a beautiful time of the year. We do have a lot of playoff contention going on, especially this weekend. Derrick Henry, King Henry, the best running back in the NFL, in my opinion, to have more than 100 rushing yards. I have Lamar Jackson to have less than 215 passing yards, and Russell Wilson to have less than 202 passing yards. So if you guys want to go ahead and copy my Prize Picks or make your own, all you guys have to do is just download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. That'll give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. That'll give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Mr. Robinson, please come play for the Patriots. Cam Robinson was a guy that I wanted in free agency last offseason. And I wanted to trade for Cam Robinson last offseason as he did enter in to his final year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But then Christian Darrisaw got hurt, and that's how he ended up with the Minnesota Vikings. When you look at a guy like Cam Robinson, you're looking at consistency. You're looking at less than 30 years old. He has over 100 regular season starts. We just need a guy that we know every single Sunday he will show up and he will do his job protecting the quarterback. He ranked 19th as the best free agent overall per Bleacher Report. This is a top 20 free agent, and he also allowed the 8th lowest pressure rate when he did play for Jacksonville. I'll be honest, he struggled a little bit with the pressure rate with Sam Darnold in Minnesota, but that's okay. And the #1 thing that I love here, and I'm not a huge fan of PFF grades, although it is very useful in determining which offensive lineman is good and not, the pass block. That's what I'm looking at. You need to bulk up Drake Maye's pass protection like none other. I understand that you want to protect his blind side and whatnot, and that's fantastic, but Drake Maye's a very mobile guy. Drake Maye has a very good peripheral over that back shoulder. If that pressure is coming, he can always move out to the right side. What Drake Maye needs more of is time in the pocket to hit his receivers. Because if you do end up getting a 6'5" Tetairoa McMillan, you're going to need a little extra time for him to create that extra separation and climb the ladder. A 70.4 pass block is very, very good to go ahead and block for Drake Maye. He's allowed 7 sacks through 2024, and he's had 17 games played so far the entire year for the NFL regular season, and now he'll go compete for the postseason. Something else to note here about Cam Robinson is that you can't offer him $45 million for 3 years. That's about $9 million less than the contract he was offered 3 years ago to stick around in Jacksonville. So if you offer him the same length, 3 years, but $10 million less, I think Cam Robinson would 110% come to New England. But I have a question for you guys. Patriots should sign which offensive lineman in free agency? Because look, there is no question we need to bolster numerous interior and exterior offensive linemen, so comment it down below. Number 2, let's talk about Chris Godwin. He tends to fall a little bit under the radar in free agency, in my opinion, because you've got a guy like Tee Higgins out there. When I look at Chris Godwin, I think that he is a great pairing with Drake Maye, and he can be utilized in the slot with a guy like Drake Maye. To have a veteran in the slot and you go out and get a rookie like Tetairoa McMillan, a 6'5" wideout, that increases your wide receiver and quarterback duo like none other. The second best free agent wide receiver. He's coming off a season-ending injury, which does make me believe just a little bit that maybe his radar on free agency will be a little bit smaller just because they're going to look at him like a lamb that just broke its leg. But he could be a very good slot for Drake Maye. Maye really hasn't had the best targets. He's had a tight end, and then he's had a tend to be smaller wide receiver. Godwin knows how to be a wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2. 50 receptions, 576 yards. He averages 11.5 yards per catch, and he's got 5 touchdowns. Is he as sexy as Tee Higgins when it comes to the box score? No. But Chris Godwin may not have as many teams fighting for him the same way they're doing Higgins. I'd rather swing and get a single than swing and get a home run with Tee Higgins. It's either home run or miss with Tee Higgins. If you know you can get a single every single time with a Chris Godwin, every time you go up to bat, I am going for the single every single time. And that's the way I view Chris Godwin compared to Tee Higgins in free agency. Because our wide receiver room is dog shit. It's terrible. You put all your eggs in a basket for Jalen Polk, and he ended up being a complete bust. Thank God Kendrick Bourne came back from injury this year. But still, he wasn't even a top 5 receiver for New England this year. Pop Douglas was your wide receiver 1, and for some God-known reason, Alex Van Pelt stopped throwing to him. So we still haven't really seen the full extent to what Pop Douglas could be for New England. Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper, your tight ends, were your best pass catchers consistently. One more question here. Which positions should the Patriots sign in free agency? I'm going to go with left tackle. I'm going to go with a wide receiver 1. And if you could possibly end up signing somebody for your secondary, I'm all for that. But let's talk a little bit more about that tackle position. Let's talk about Trey Smith. Currently playing with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a top 10 guard this season, ranked by PFF. Trey Smith is going to have a lot of buyers, a lot of interest this offseason, and rightfully so. He leads the league with 0 sacks allowed. This guard, when you pair him along with Mike Onwenu, it's going to increase your interior production by 1,000. The only thing with Trey Smith that I do want to note here, just because New England does tend to deal with this already, is blood clots, which they can't prevent that. I 110% understand that, but he has had some health issues, so you're not sure if you're going to be able to get 17 games out of Trey Smith in the next year. But with Trey Smith, you know that you're going to allow Drake Maye to primarily be untouched. Having 0 sacks allowed and less than 20 pressures allowed is what makes a guy like Trey Smith so intriguing to numerous teams in the NFL. Drake Maye is going to have to sell a lot of highlights this year to try and get an offensive lineman to say, yes, I want to work with a quarterback like that. Drake Maye is a great locker room guy. He's very mobile. So sometimes offensive linemen do prefer a more mobile quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes. So with Trey Smith, knowing that he played 17 games this year, but he does have a history of blood clots, 0 sacks allowed, pairing him with Mike Onwenu on your interior offensive line, you get David Andrews back. Your right guard and left guard are Trey Smith and Mike Onwenu. That is going to help your run game and your passing game a lot next year. So those are just a couple of free agent targets that I have thought about that the Patriots can go out and get and try to get, but I know there's a lot more. You guys can expect a lot more videos this offseason. So if you guys want to be a part of it, all you guys have to do is subscribe to Patriots Today by Chat Sports. Who do you guys want to sign in free agency? Is anybody else sweating? Good night. Alive. Is that what I was hearing? Who do you guys want to sign in free agency? Ness Force saying Polk and Baker still have potential. They are young. They absolutely do have potential. I'm intrigued to see what the offensive coordinator that comes in will do with Polk and Baker. I think Baker kind of got shafted this year. I think Jerod Mayo wrote him off a little bit too early because you got to remember the weekend before the first game, Javon Baker went on Instagram Live about a cop interaction that he had, and he got pulled over. And Jerod Mayo said that he talked to him, and there was discipline with that, and it was a learning moment for both of them. But then it was pretty intriguing that Javon Baker was a healthy scratch to start the first game of the season. And then he was a healthy scratch again. And then he played, and there were no targets ever coming towards him. So Javon Baker, I feel like, just wasn't in Jerod Mayo's eyesight, eye line or whatever, sight line. I just think that the new head coach or OC may see a little bit more potential in Polk and Baker, but I'm definitely not putting all my eggs in that basket. I'm looking at a free agent, and I like Chris Godwin. I think it'd be a lot more obtainable for the Patriots to get. I do not think Tee Higgins will come to New England. I think that there are sexier options for Tee Higgins, and hell, he might even try to stay with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase in Cincinnati. So I'd rather be more realistic this year, not swing and miss on Ridley, Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel, and go for a wide receiver that's still good, but maybe not as high of a priority as it is, like Tee Higgins, who's going to have 6 to 8 teams trying to buy him, sign him in the offseason. All right, we do have a mailbag coming up here pretty shortly. I want to make sure I get all of your questions in using hashtag Patriots in the comment section down below. Spider saying Cam Robinson, 3-year deal, $45 million. He's on board with that. I think that'd be a really good deal for Cam Robinson. He's looking for some stability, obviously playing in Jacksonville, then moving to Minnesota. Oof, that is an adjustment per weather. Good night. Paul King said the Patriots offensive line needs players that want to play hard and block for Drake Maye. I think the offensive line definitely wanted to, but I think they just sucked. I don't think any offensive lineman that we had starting for us, except Mike Onwenu, would be a starter on any other NFL team. Hell, DeMontre Jacobs better not even be with the team next year. He better be a practice squad player. He is terrible. My goodness. Raymond, do you think we need an offensive lineman or McMillan? I want Teteroa McMillan. I think you can get an offensive lineman, interior, exterior, in free agency with your $130 million in cap space. Callie saying Patriots, chances Pats make a run at Chase Young. Ooh, I love that mailbag question. Love that mailbag question. Tee Higgins isn't saying no to the Patriots offering him a 4-year, $120 million contract. Guess what? Brandon Ayuk did. We offered Brandon Ayuk the most money in free agency, and he re-signed with the 49ers. It depends on what Higgins wants. If Higgins just wants to get paid and doesn't worry about winning, then yeah, New England would definitely be a chance he could take on. But Tee Higgins comes from Cincinnati. He's got Joe Burrow, who's a phenomenal quarterback already established, and Jamar Chase. Cincinnati could also offer him a whopping amount of money too, realizing how beneficial he is for Cincinnati, especially if they want to have a run in the postseason. Money isn't, I know it sounds crazy, but money isn't everything. Tee Higgins may want to find a Super Bowl before he gets his big payday. I don't know what Tee Higgins wants, but I'm just saying, don't rule out offering the most money. That's going to automatically make him say yes. Brandon Ayuk still said no, despite the Patriots offering him the most amount of money. Ayuk said no because he didn't know who the quarterback was. Now that it's Drake Maye has put himself out there, Tee Higgins would say yes. You know what? If he does, let's have a freaking party. I'm on board with Tee Higgins saying yes. I just don't want us to wait 6 months trying to get Tee Higgins, and you have not offered Chris Godwin anything, and he goes and signs with the New Orleans Saints. I don't want to put all of our eggs in the Tee Higgins basket. That's just what I'm saying. All right. Use hashtag Patriots in the comment section down below if you guys haven't already, if you've got a question. Have you been monitoring the Patriots questions? Okay, we're good. Oh, we're chilling, dude. All right, coming up next year on our live show, we talked about the Patriots free agent targets, but now I really want to get more into the head coach tracker, the latest that we're hearing, who the Patriots are interviewing, who they're requesting for, and what it's going to look like this upcoming week. So let's go on ahead and jump into head coaching candidates here. Coming up on Patriots Today by Chat Sports, we are going to unpack the Patriots coaching tracker. Who they're talking to, who they want to interview, and what reports are saying they're more than likely going to lean on. Patriots could possibly be fumbling this head coaching search. We're going to break down what analysts are saying and how I think maybe they should pump the brakes just a little bit before they give a man the job. Second half, Mike Vrabel to New England. Reports are saying that this is the number one candidate for New England, but it's not guaranteed. And then on the very back half of the show, I personally think New England should hire Ben Johnson, but why should New England hire Ben Johnson? If you guys want to be a part of the head coaching search with me, go on ahead. We are so close to 20,500 subscribers. Help us grow this channel every single day by hitting that sub button. We need 189 more subs to help us get to 20,500, so subscribe. Are the New England Patriots fumbling their search for a new head coach? Keep in mind, it has been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days since we have said goodbye to Jerod Mayo. Now, some reports may have shown that it looks like this was definitely going to end up happening after the Week 18 win, I should say. But are the Patriots moving a little bit too fast and not looking at all their options? Are they trying to hire Mike Vrabel as soon as possible and maybe not taking the time to get to know somebody like Ben Johnson or see if there's another candidate out there, possibly like a Brian Flores, that may be interested in coaching for the New England Patriots? Well, Robert Kraft is making some moves, but is he doing it the right way? What we have heard from reports on who they're talking to is that they have interviewed Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich. They have requested Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, and Mike Vrabel to be the next candidates to interview for the head coaching position. Obviously, all signs are pointing towards Mike Vrabel, and I don't blame them. He's an alumni of the franchise. They wanted him last year, but they hired Jerod Mayo. Ben Johnson, a phenomenal offensive coordinator. And then Pep Hamilton, Byron Leftwich haven't spent that much time in the NFL in the last couple of years. But overall, when I look at who the Patriots have talked to and who they're planning on talking to, I wish they would slow down. I wish they would really just pump the brakes and stop trying to go along with the Mike Vrabel timeline and go along with their timeline. What Vrabel is doing right now is very strategic. And while this is very speculation source, is that Mike Vrabel interviewed with the New York Jets on Friday, 2 days before the Patriots' last ball game. On Saturday, 1 day before the Patriots' last ball game, he changed his profile picture to him playing in New England. Mike Vrabel is pushing Robert Kraft. Hey, they want me. People out there want me. You guys should want me. I want to work with you. But now you've got a guy like Ben Johnson, who would be incredible, paired up with Drake Maye, and his timeline is very different from Mike Vrabel's timeline. So I don't want the Patriots to hire somebody immediately, 4 days after they fired one alumni, and go and rehire another alumni. I think, A, that's a punch in the face of Jerod Mayo, and B, I want to make sure all of our options are being thought of very thoroughly. Mike Girardi saying yesterday, as I tweeted, 6 league execs all said Vrabel when I asked what they thought of the Pats process. So everybody knows Mike Vrabel and the Patriots want to work together. Having already fulfilled the Rooney Rule with Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich, Vrabel, who will interview Thursday, could be the new head coach before the weekend. You're not even going to go Sunday to Sunday without a head coach? And I get it. It's Mike Vrabel. Totally understand why they're fast-tracking this process. But it's not like Mike Vrabel is the only head coaching candidate out there. You haven't even offered an interview for Brian Flores. What about Liam Cohen? That was the first source that said they'd be interested in Liam Cohen. I feel like we're trying to catch up with Vrabel instead of slowing down and realizing what's best for New England right now. And what Brian Hines had to say is that now they're trying to catch up. So because of the league rules, Ben Johnson can't interview in person this week. So he can do it virtually, and he's going to do it virtually on Friday. I don't want them to go in tomorrow on Thursday and have an interview with Mike Vrabel and pretty much offer him a job without offering him a job before you even talk to Ben Johnson. I don't think they will. I think they're taking this process very seriously. But what if you're like, Vrabel's our guy, Vrabel's our guy, Vrabel's our guy. You sit down with Ben Johnson, you're like, shit, that was a really good interview. What do you do then? I want to make sure New England's thinking about this thoroughly, and I don't know if Robert Kraft is. And I'm starting to get a little bit worried that they're fumbling the head coaching search before it's even over. Who do you guys want as a head coach? And I don't mean to sound the alarm. Mike Vrabel, I will be very happy with Mike Vrabel. I think he would be a good coach in New England. I just want to make sure we're really looking at all of our options. Type MV for Vrabel. Type BJ for Ben Johnson. While you guys are commenting that down below, I know Robert Kraft has this admiration for hiring guys internally like a Vrabel, like a Jerod Mayo. I mean, hell, he made Jerod Mayo's successor, Bill Belichick, 5 years ago. But the Patriots hiring process is a little bit more strategic than I am leaning towards. Chad Graff said, look, Robert Kraft tends to be intentional with these kinds of decisions. He's not just automatically going to shake Vrabel's hand and say, yeah, call off the search. Obviously, it's not just Kraft, it's Elliott Wolf too. There's a lot of people that go into this. He's not going to sit back and take lots of time, though. Wouldn't surprise me if the Patriots are going to hire Mike Vrabel by the end of the week. Hire a head coach by the end of the week. I don't blame them. You got to kind of act fast. Why? The Bears are interviewing Vrabel. He's already interviewed with the Jets. The Raiders just fired Antonio Pierce. New Orleans Saints are interested in Mike Vrabel. He's the hottest commodity on the market. Rightfully so. He's a good head coach. And he's been a head coach for so long, his networking capabilities are very thorough. He can go out and get a really good offensive coordinator to pair with him and help Drake Maye. But where does Vrabel and the Patriots stand right now? That's what we're going to break down here ahead of the weekend, which some sources are saying we could have a new head coach within the week of firing the last one. But I want to tell you guys real quick about our sponsor here, and that is Game Time. If you guys are looking to get tickets to any sporting event, concert, comedy show, Game Time is the place to be. If you guys are looking to get the lowest price guaranteed, and believe me, I am always a fan of saving $1 or $2. Download Game Time. One of my favorite aspects of Game Time is that you can search a city. You can just search a city, and they're going to tell you what events are happening in that city. And look, I have been to Tom Segura. I have been to Shane Gillis. I love, love, love comedy shows. And I think that sometimes it's a little bit harder to see a comedian in person than it is an artist or a sporting event. So if you guys really want to go laugh out loud, you want to sing your heart out, or you want to cheer super loud for your team, I promise you Game Time is not going to let you down with making your experience that much better. I know this because I only use Game Time. I use this for when my friends come into town. I use this for date night or anniversaries. Or heck, I've used it for myself when I first moved to Texas and I didn't have any friends. I wanted to go and enjoy myself. So if you guys want to go ahead and get started, download the Game Time app. Use promo code Chat Sports. That'll get you $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Again, use promo code CHATSPORTS after downloading Game Time and creating an account. That'll get you $20 off your first purchase while terms apply. What time is it? It is game time. So now knowing that Mike Vrabel is pretty much the number one candidate for the New England Patriots, I have to reiterate that it is not guaranteed. And that's the good part. We could possibly see an interview go very, very well with Ben Johnson. But what Ian Rappaport had to say here on Mike Vrabel is leaning me more and more towards why I think Vrabel is going to be the next head coach for the Patriots. The widely understood view is that Vrabel is considered to be the front runner for the Patriots job. We'll see if they're able to get this done firm and finalized tomorrow and wrap up their head coaching process. Holy cow. That's quick, man. I think it's tough that you just fired Jerod Mayo and you're going to go and hire another former Patriots player. If a serious option like Ben Johnson is available, and Ben Johnson reportedly has shown his interest in coaching with New England and coaching a guy like Drake Maye, I want the Patriots to hire Ben Johnson. I think giving Drake Maye a strong head coach, an offensive-minded head coach, and one of the most innovative play callers in NFL right now can set up Drake Maye to be a top 5 quarterback in the next 3 years. He's already shown you what he can do with a very shitty offensive coordinator and not the most intelligent head coach when it comes to being a head coach. I think if you give him an offensive coordinator and a good offensive head coach, that'll set Drake Maye up for success. That'll set up your offense for success. But with Vrabel, you're going to go back to a defensive-minded head coach, and then you might be looking at a Josh McDaniels or Tommy Rees for your OC. Still okay options, but I'd rather double up on the offensive production right here than go with a defensive-minded head coach and a subpar OC. So why not Vrabel? I'm totally fine if Vrabel comes in and brings in Josh McDaniels or Reese. I'm okay with that. But once again, if you're going to go out and get a phenomenal offensive coordinator and promote him to head coach, he's going to bring in a good OC because he knows what it takes to make calls for Drake Maye, to create schemes and plays for Drake Maye. And you're probably like, Allie, why do you keep basing your whole show and your whole thing on Drake Maye? Because he is the future of your franchise. You built everything around Tom Brady. Not comparing the two, but you get the point. If Johnson is hired, you get a strong offensive coordinator and a good offensive coordinator. You get a strong offensive coordinator as your head coach and a good offensive coordinator next to him. You hire Vrabel, you get a good head coach and a pretty good offensive coordinator. I'd rather go with Ben Johnson. Who would you rather have working with Maye? An offensive-minded head coach or a defensive-minded head coach? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please do not come at me saying Allie doesn't want Vrabel. I'm fine with Vrabel. But there is another guy on the market I want to hear from first. If you guys want to be a part of this all off-season long, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me. I will let you guys know what happens when it happens with the New England Patriots, so subscribe. I feel like I'm really shitting on Vrabel here, but I promise I'm not. I am terrified Robert Kraft is going to hire Vrabel because it's the easier option. Joey P., I see your little box forming up there.
Hey, guys. It feels like that's kind of what he did with Jerod Mayo. But, like, the difference is Mike Vrabel took the freaking Tennessee Titans with Ryan Tannehill to an AFC championship. But also, I get your point of the biggest knock on him in Tennessee was his lack of ability to hire a good offensive coordinator.
Right.
And so you got your future, you got your capstone in Drake Maye. Pairing him up with a guy like Ben Johnson, it's not a bad idea.
I mean, Ben Johnson, like I said, the innovative play calling, the number one beef I had with Alex Van Pelt is not making enough quarterback design runs for a mobile quarterback. Not using his 6'4", 225-pound frame to actually utilize his strength and his upper body that he could throw 60-yard passes. Granted, he didn't have a target to throw downfield, but I felt like he was kept in this box from Alex Van Pelt. And I think a guy like Ben Johnson is going to know exactly which targets to bring in to help Drake Maye, possibly even bolster that offensive line. I'll tell you what, man, if I'm Tee Higgins and I'm looking at Drake Maye and Ben Johnson as my head coach, New England just got a lot more attractive to me if I'm Tee Higgins. Vrabel? Yeah, for sure. But Ben Johnson, definitely.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't really think about that even, of like attracting free agent off-season free agent targets.
Or linemen even.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%. I mean, if you're a tackle, freaking Ben Johnson throwing
absolutely.
touchdowns to Penei Sewell and Dan Skipper. Why wouldn't you want to get
you
Tutty?
love them. Oh, I remember I put Prize Picks on that one, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You can't get it to Sam Laporta right now. Are you kidding me? But no, seriously, like Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown are probably the best quarterback wide receiver duo in terms of completion percentage right now. If you can make a Drake Maye and Tee Higgins work, Ben Johnson would propose that to a guy like Tee Higgins trying to come play for his team. Vrabel would too, but Vrabel being the defensive-minded head coach and, like you said, just got fired from Tennessee, it could be a harder sell. Not saying that it would be an automatic no. Vrabel's still a good coach, but I think this would help me help you kind of situation with Ben Johnson. And I'm very nervous that Thursday's going to go great, and they're not going to take Friday as serious when they talk to Johnson. They will.
But
they
it feels
will.
like that. It's trending that way.
It's trending like, and I got into an argument with Nick Roloff earlier about this because I'm like, they're taking Ben Johnson seriously. They're taking, I don't know if they're taking Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich seriously or not, but and Liam Cohen and Aaron Glenn. I know they're taking all the head coaching candidates seriously, but if every single report is pointing towards Vrabel becoming the next coach, shit, I don't know if I'd want to interview for that job. If you know you're going to lose it, it's like, well, I don't know. It's a lot of effort for me to interview for. I just don't want them to jump too quickly, and you kind of have to because Vrabel's window is closing. He's interviewing with the Bears tomorrow too.
Yes.
So it's a really sticky situation, and I hope Robert Kraft makes the right one. Do you have a question for me? Go on ahead and use hashtag Patriots in the comment section down below. Isn't this fun? It's our first live show. I want you guys to know. All right, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's a little bit tired this morning. I came in, started typing, started doing my work. And then Mr. Joey Peterson walks into the office, and he's like, Barefoot, let's go. And we're like, yeah, Joey. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, Patriots live today. Let's do it. Like, that was the energy that I got from producer Joey at 9 a.m. this Wednesday morning. This dude's been looking forward to this all day long with me. So give it up. Give it up for Joey P, everybody. He's helping me not run myself dry here. All right. We got plenty of questions here, so let's go on ahead and jump into our mailbag. Thank you guys so much to everybody that sent in a question. Now it's time to hear my answers to your questions moving forward. Let's talk Patriots football here on this mailbag version of today's show. You guys ask the questions, I answer, and let's be honest, we probably have the most offseason in the NFL right now. The most interesting offseason in the NFL. We've got a ton of money in cap space. You got a top 5 pick. You can either pick a guy or trade him. And as of right now, we are searching to fill our coaching staff. So, with that being said, I am not just on YouTube. If you guys want to talk about Patriots football, let's talk about it. Hit me up on TikTok at Boston Barefoot. I always post clips, shorter clips, of my 8-minute long videos every single day. I post memes. I love talking to you guys on there. And also follow me on X. I've been posting a lot of questions on X that I've been replying to you guys as well. So if you guys want to follow me at AR Barefoot and at Boston Barefoot on TikTok, go on ahead and do so right now. Let's hop into our first question here. Daniel coming in. Should we be interested in Tyreek Hill at all? I've always had a little bit of reserve when it comes to a guy like Tyreek Hill because it gives me that OBJ personality type of vibe where Tyreek Hill, I always feel like is playing for himself. And that's okay. The NFL is full of guys like that, and sometimes you have to. In terms of strengths, in terms of skill set alone, absolutely. You should be trying to obtain a guy like Tyreek Hill. With Drake Maye's strength in passing and Tyreek Hill's speed and route running, you will be able to unlock another level of a playbook with the two of them. Now, he will be looking for a lot of money. Thankfully, the Patriots do have some money, and hopefully they do have a couple of draft picks they will have coming in. But with a guy like Tyreek Hill, you have to be weary that more recently, he created some drama in Miami saying he wants out because he just didn't feel like his skill set was being fulfilled in Miami. The only thing you don't want is a dramatic Tyreek Hill coming in while a team is very fragile right now, searching for its identity, and you have a drama-filled wide receiver that's either holding out or not putting up his end of the bargain. I don't know if Tyreek Hill will do that in his new franchise, but as of right now, he's starting to stir the pot a little bit in Miami. But in terms of a wide receiver and what he brings on the field alone, Drake Maye and Tyreek Hill would be a beautiful, beautiful project that I would like to see get done. Coming in here, I let producer Joey pick my picture for Allie's burner. Welcome to sophomore year prom, Allie Barefoot, everybody. Allie's burner with a great question here. If they don't hire Mike Vrabel, who is your top choice? My top choice for the New England Patriots is to hire Ben Johnson. As an offensive-minded head coach that he would be, as of right now he's the OC in Detroit, I think that he would unleash Drake Maye's full potential in the NFL. He would also bring in some top free agents in the NFL as well, possibly even a guy like Tee Higgins. The reason why I say Ben Johnson would be able to do that and maybe not Mike Vrabel is because the offensive coordinator in Detroit right now, helping Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown lead the league in completion percentage, they are the best quarterback wide receiver duo in the NFL. I'll argue about it. I don't care. Tee Higgins or somebody in the NFL free agency market might look at Drake Maye and say, wow, I could actually do some damage in my own individual stats, being Drake Maye's top target and having a guy like Ben Johnson running our offense for us. If you get an offensive-minded head coach and then pair that with a good offensive coordinator, because I believe Ben Johnson would hire a guy that he knows can fulfill the job that he has done in Detroit, I think that sets up the future of your franchise, and that is Drake Maye. Now, if Vrabel does get hired, I am all on board with Mike Vrabel. I think the defensive-minded head coach, bringing in a familiar face in Josh McDaniels as an offensive coordinator, could definitely be what this franchise needs as well. Something to help them refine their identity and get back to a dynasty. But I'm going to be honest. When I was fully on the Vrabel train, I didn't know Ben Johnson was interested in the Patriots. Now that he is, makes it a little bit more spicy. So I'm on the Ben Johnson train. And I want to ask you guys the same question. Who do you want as the Patriots head coach? Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Pep Hamilton? Go on ahead, comment it down below. Coming in here from Cali Lama. Chances Pats make a run at Chase Young. Need a pass rush with Keon White. Chase Young is definitely going to be a sneaky guy in free agency. He is a free agent, right? Wouldn't be a trade? Yeah, he's a free agent. I've loved Chase Young ever since he got drafted to Washington a couple of years ago with Montez Sweat. Unfortunately, Washington was going through the same identity crisis that New England is going through right now, and Chase Young wasn't able to fulfill his destiny in Washington. But as of right now for New Orleans, I think Chase Young does his best damage being paired up with a guy like a Keon White. Keon White right now, I do love Daniel Ekuale, and I do think that Devon Godchaux are a good 3-4 front for New England. But Keon White could thrive having another strength on the opposite side to involve in that pass rush, to help in that run defense. Keon White and Chase Young would allow those linebackers as well to help out in that 3-4 front, or if you're going to stack the box or help with the blitz. Chase Young is definitely a hot commodity, and I believe he will be in the free agent market. And I think he could thrive in a defense currently being set up by DeMarcus Covington. But we are going to hop into more questions here in just a moment, but I want to make sure you guys know how to get tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. You get them by using Game Time. This is the number one way I get tickets to any sporting event, concert, or comedy show in my area, or if I'm traveling somewhere else. If you guys want to use Game Time, let me tell you about my favorite feature. It's called Game Time Picks. They make getting tickets to your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to make sure you get incredible deals on great seats, and that way you don't have to spend time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. If you guys want to go on ahead and get started, all you guys have to do is download the Game Time app. When you get there, you're going to find all-in pricing, which no surprise fees at checkout. You're going to get your seat views. You're going to get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, and you get Game Time ticket coverage. So if you guys want to go on ahead and get started, download the Game Time app. Use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Ness Force. Do we need a new GM? I think Elliott Wolf tried his best last year in free agency. I really do. He tried to go get Ridley, swing and a miss. Brandon Ayuk, swing and a miss. And Deebo Samuel, a swing and a miss. He brought in some players, like an Antonio Gibson, did end up working out. KJ Osborne, an absolute bust in New England, which you do start to feel a little bit bad for KJ Osborne in that situation. I don't think we need a new GM just yet. I think Elliott Wolf can lead Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft to a successful offseason by hiring the right head coach and possibly getting a good free agent. If he doesn't get the top target in free agency, that's okay. New England is not the most desired destination for a lot of players out there right now. But with Mike Vrabel coming in, if he does come in as the new head coach, there have been reports that have shown Mike Vrabel would possibly want to bring in his own GM. And you also have to think, with Mike Vrabel, he and the GM in Tennessee did not really see eye to eye. There was a bit of a falling out there. So it is very important that the GM, and if Mike Vrabel becomes a head coach, has a good connection. So as of right now, I'm fine with Elliott Wolf. I really am. And I am fine with Robert Kraft. But it may be a trial run for sure. Another question coming in from Matt, 98-19 trade for Metcalf. Yeah, I'm all on board for it. I really am. I don't know about trades just yet. The reason why I say hold off on the trades is because the draft is 3 months away, and you do have the opportunity to get a good wide receiver in Tedoroa McMillan. If you decide to go for a guy like a Will Campbell or a Kelvin Banks Jr., yeah, that wide receiver priority got a little bit higher. But also having the most cap space in the NFL, I would really try to test out your free agent market first and foremost, and then you can always try and go work with other GMs around the league to possibly get a guy like DK Metcalf. The only reason why I say trading is on my bottom of my list is because when you trade, you have to give things away, and I'd rather spend money than give away our attributes to go and get a guy. And number two, it sometimes comes with a little bit of drama. In case, AKA for Tyreek Hill's reason. Tyreek Hill is adamant he wants out of Miami. I don't want him coming into New England with a bad attitude. If a free agent wants to sign somewhere else, that's his own will. I think it makes it a little bit easier to dissect. But yeah, I mean, DK Metcalf, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I mean, just give me anybody, good Lord, that can catch a ball. Well, the Patriots sign enough players that are good and draft good players to take down the Buffalo Bills next season for the AFC East title. I wish I had a crystal ball and I could tell you everything's going to be okay, Christopher, but I don't know. I can only guess. And I do think that this year, with how shitty it was of a response from the New England fan base to the front office, New England fans aren't happy. They are fed up with what Robert Kraft and Elliott Wolf just pulled with Jerod Mayo and not recruiting any players and not signing any players and leading us to another unsuccessful year. So if I am the Krafts and Wolf, I am number one, getting a head coach, and number two, trying to get Patriots fans back in Gillette Stadium. So I think their number one priority should be bring in good players, draft good players, and hire a good coach. If they fail at any of those circumstances, then yeah, we probably won't beat the Buffalo Bills. But if they thrive in all three areas, bring it on. Maybe Josh Allen will win a Super Bowl and he'll be content and he'll just fall off the face of the earth. Joey, I totally forgot to find a picture for you. Joey Peterson's burner. Oh my God. Fresh out of his braces. Wow, what a guy. Producer Joey, everybody. Top free agent target with more than $130 million in cap space. I'm so glad you're interested in what the Patriots are going to do this offseason, Joey. My top free agent is going to be Trey Smith. I think that he's a very good offensive lineman that I would love to be able to acquire this offseason. And what's even better is that he could sign him for a 3-year, $40 million contract. You don't have to break the bank necessarily to bring a guy like Trey Smith in. But I think my top target and everybody's top target is obviously going to be Tee Higgins. I'm trying to be as realistic as I can and just let you guys know that this may be more of a fever dream than a reality with a guy like Higgins, just because New England is not a sexy place to land, and Drake Maye is the only good thing you had to look at right now while you're still searching for a head coach and an offensive coordinator. So obviously I would love Tee Higgins. I would love to have a guy like Trey Smith definitely bulk up the offense more than I would the defense, and then I would fine-tune the defense on the back end with the rest of our $130 million in cap space. My question for you guys here, top free agent target for the Patriots. Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for sending in your questions. I hope I answered them thoroughly. And if you guys still want to talk Patriots football, X at AR Barefoot, TikTok at Boston Barefoot. Follow me. Let's talk about it. And let's take this off YouTube sometimes. All right. I saw we got a $5 super chat from my main man, Nate Dogg, coming in. I said this last year that we should have hired Mike Vrabel, and I was passed when we didn't hire him. Hopefully we hire him this time. It's unfortunate, Nate, because Vrabel was fired a few weeks after they had hired Jerod Mayo, and Mayo was already set in line to be the successor for Bill Belichick. So it was an unfortunate timeline, but I'm definitely on that same page with you. I thought Vrabel would have been the better option last year, but you got to live and you got to learn. And now New England has a top 5 draft pick, and if anything, we're just more intriguing to the media now, and hopefully going to get Vrabel or Ben Johnson in this offseason, and everything will be okay, and maybe we'll have a over 500 season next year. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for tuning in to our very first live show here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. We go live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Come hang out with us, and maybe Joey Peterson if he wants to come back. So thank you guys so much. If you haven't already, go on ahead, do one thing for me, and subscribe.